Good morning. Today at Toronto Police Headquarters, Detective Omar Khan of Homicide will speak to the media regarding the investigation into homicide number 29 and 30 of 2015. Detective?
Good morning. Thank you very much for attending. On August 4th, 2015, the Toronto Police Service responded to several calls for shots fired in the area of Muzik Nightclub on the C&E grounds. This was at approximately 3:25 a.m. Responding officers located 5 persons suffering from gunshot wounds. 2 of these victims died from their injuries. Duvel Hibbert, a 23-year-old male from Brampton, and Ariela Navarro-Fenoy, a 26-year-old female from Toronto. Ariela's family is here today to speak with you. Unfortunately, Duvel's family could not attend. Currently, no charges have been laid in this investigation. We have had a great deal of cooperation and assistance from witnesses at the scene and from staff at the nightclub. We continue to receive new information. I am here today to ask the public for more help. I know that there are persons who have information that have not yet come forward. As we approach the 1-year mark of this tragedy, I'm hoping that those persons have had time to reflect and will now come forward and tell the police what they know. Our investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with any information whatsoever that may assist us to contact the Homicide Squad at 416-808-7400. I'd like to introduce now to you Ariela's sister. This is Alowan. And this is Ariela's father, Victor. Ariela's mom, Nancy, is also present. She's off camera.
Losing someone you love and care for to a senseless act of violence and murder is a horrifying nightmare. A nightmare my family and I have to painfully endure the past year. Tragically, we are condemned to live with this horror for the rest of our lives. My sister, Ariela Navarro-Fenoy, is more than just a hashtag on the internet. She was a light in everyone's lives that she connected with. A light so bright, even on the most gloomy of days. Ariela is a daughter, a sister, aunt, cousin, friend, and the most loving and loyal person I've ever known. Addie would be the first and last person I would speak to before waking up in the morning and going to bed at night. She was my soulmate and my best friend. She was also a second mother to me. And apart from all her amazing qualities, she truly and wholeheartedly loved the city. She took so much pride in living in such a beautiful place. And in times like these, it makes us wonder if Addie still thinks this way. After almost a year following her senseless murder, our lives are still on hold. Addie's brutal murder is still unsolved. This is a time in which we should all come together as a community and help each other out. We can't act like Addie's murder never happened. We need your help in bringing Addie's murderer to justice. Our lives have been crushed and shattered, and the pain of our loss is unbearable. What we are experiencing is something my family would never have imagined or dreamt of. Much like my family, though, it can happen to anyone or someone you love and know. That's why we beg for you to help us out to solve my sister's murder. To come forward and tell the police about what you may have seen or heard of afterwards. We need any information you can think of. Any information is good information. And even if you're scared, there are ways to cope with that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I can take some questions.
Just shortly after the murder, there was a plea for pictures and video from that night to be uploaded. I know there was a site set up. Did that provide any help in this investigation at all?
We have gathered a great deal of evidence. I'm not going to detail the specifics of that evidence, but we have collected a lot of video. The link that you speak of is still existing on the Toronto Police website, and I encourage anyone with any video or photographs that can assist us to contact the Homicide Squad, and you can also upload that evidence via the Toronto Police website.
Detective, you had said, or some time ago, it was said that you were looking for 2 men. Is that still the case?
That's correct. Last year we released the descriptions of 2 persons of interest. I'll give you those descriptions again. And these persons of interest were in the area of Muzik Nightclub that morning of the shootings. The first description is male black, 6 foot to 6'1", 25 to 26 years old, with a fresh buzz cut, wearing a bright purple crew neck sweater with a colorful design on the front, and dark blue jeans. The second person of interest is male brown, 5'10" to 5'11", 24 to 28 years old, and he was wearing a yellow burgundy plaid button-up shirt. And again, those are persons of interest who I am interested in speaking with and also receiving any information from witnesses regarding those 2 persons.
You also mentioned that, or you had towed a car that was in the parking lot that had a bullet hole in it outside Muzik Nightclub. I think it was a Beamer. Is that car still, is it still part of the investigation, or what's with that car?
We have investigated that vehicle, and I have spoken with the person that was operating that vehicle that night, and any damage on that vehicle did not occur at Muzik Nightclub, and it had nothing to do with August 4th and these shootings.
What can you tell us about the sequence of events? What happened that night? How the shooting of these 5 people unfolded?
The dynamics of how the shooting started are part of our investigation, and it's not something that I can share at this time.
Can you just tell us, though, in terms of maybe the path that the gunfire took, where it started, where it ended, and you know, I think that last year, I don't know if you guys ever said it or if it was alluded to, but that Duvel was, it seemed that he was the intended target and that Ariela was not. They were in 2 different areas. Can you just sort of map that out for us?
So sorry, your question was again?
Just if you can walk us through, not necessarily what sparked it, if that's not what you want to touch on, but it started in the nightclub and then did it continue outside? Just walk us through what we know about the sequence of events in that respect.
I could say that there were multiple shooting scenes, and that 2 of those 2 separate shooting scenes resulted in the deaths of Ariela and Duvel.
And where were the other 3 shot?
I'm not going to go into any detail about the 3 surviving victims.
Why do you think it is that the people who have not come forward after all this time?
Individual witnesses will have their own individual reasons. It's been very common that some witnesses will believe that what the information they have is insignificant or too little for the police investigation. But I encourage anyone with any information, even if they believe it to be insignificant, to contact us. Often, small bits of information can advance our investigation forward.
Any firearms recovered?
We've recovered a lot of evidence. I'm not going to go specifically into the firearms.
Are you still working on the premise that that Duvel was the target of the shooting?
It does appear that Duvel Hibbert was an intended target. I do not have any reason to believe any of the other victims were specifically intended targets.
Detective, where is this investigation compared to last year? In terms of progress, I understand you're asking for more info, but
Yes.
would it be fair to say there hasn't been significant progress since 10 months?
We are making progress, and I want to emphasize that we have had a great deal of cooperation. It's just we need more. We need more cooperation and assistance from the public to advance our investigation.
Where's your frustration level at right now? Because, you know, these days with Snapchat, Instagram, everybody's constantly taking videos and photos, especially at a party that size. There must be so much video and photo evidence out there. You're just not able to get your hands on it. So, I mean, how frustrating is that for you as you investigate?
These investigations can take a long time. We are prepared to continue our investigation for as long as necessary.
How many shooters do you believe there were?
I cannot go into that at this time.
More than one, though?
I cannot detail that, no.
How would you describe this shooter or shooters, given that you believe there was one intended target and 4 innocent bystanders?
Well, this is a very reckless, brazen attack in a public place where we know most of the people, the vast majority of persons in attendance and on the streets that night were just out for a good time. And unfortunately, what was an enjoyable night was destroyed by these shootings.
Have you been able to determine yet how the guns ended up getting past security and into the club?
That's part of our investigation, and I can't elaborate on that any further at this time.
You can't say either way, even if you have determined how they got in or not?
I can't elaborate on that.
Without specifics, is there any evidence so far that might indicate involvement of these, of this shooting with others? Did you come up with any evidence that from those firearms that would indicate involvement in any other shootings?
That's part of our investigation, and again, I cannot release that type of information at this time.
By all accounts, it was a chaotic scene, hundreds of people streaming out of the nightclub, loud music. A year has passed, and doesn't appear to be any substantial progress. Is this crime solvable?
This crime is definitely solvable. I believe that with the assistance of the public, we can bring this investigation to a successful conclusion.
In a case like this, is it really just, if you just get that one piece of evidence, one witness, the whole thing can turn around for you?
That certainly can happen, yes.
Did you say Drake has spoken to the police yet?
I'm not going to discuss who we have or have not spoken with in relation to the investigation, but we have had a great deal of cooperation from many people.
How many people are out there, do you believe, who have not come forward?
I don't have a specific number, but
Do you know how many people were at the club, more or less, when the shots were fired, right?
at the club specifically, I have an estimate of between 500 to 1,000 people, and in the area of the club, as many as 4,000 people.
And
But
how
those are
many-
just estimates.
How many have come forward to talk to you guys?
We have spoken to hundreds of people,
Hundreds?
yes.
So there's potentially thousands still out there, or hundreds still out there, or?
Potentially, there are many more witnesses out there.
And are these, the people you want to speak to, are they people who saw something that night? Or are they people, acquaintances, friends of suspects who may know through word of mouth?
That's a good question. Sometimes I find that the public, when we make an appeal for witnesses, that some witnesses think we mean eyewitnesses and persons that were actually at the scene and saw the shooting. I want anyone who has any information that can assist us in our investigation to contact the Homicide Squad.
If you're making a public appeal, this was somewhat linked to OVO Fest, that's coming up again soon. Any thoughts of reaching out to the people involved with that to make an appeal at the actual weekend concert when it comes up? Just to try to get the message out there because, you know, you're trying to reach as many people as possible.
I have not had that conversation, no.
Would you think about it?
I'll think about it, yes.
Thank you.
That concludes today's conference. Thank you.